The studio lights dimmed, casting a soft, inviting glow over the intimate space where Barron Trump and Steve Harvey sat across from each other. Barron leaned back in his chair, his posture relaxed, but there was a quiet unease in his eyes. Steve, with his trademark energy, leaned forward, his eyes steady, filled with both warmth and curiosity. "Barron," Steve began, his voice even but probing, "I think I know you. I've heard your name, seen you around, but do I really know who you are?" Barron's gaze drifted downward for a moment, as if searching for an answer deep within. His voice was soft, almost fragile. "I don't think you do, Steve. I don't think anyone does." Steve raised an eyebrow, intrigued but patient. "Why is that? I mean, you've been in the public eye, you've had a life full of people knowing you. Surely there's a side of you that people must see." Barron took a long breath, his mind clearly elsewhere. His eyes wandered to the window where the world beyond felt distant. "People see the name," he said quietly. "They see Trump. But that's not me. It's just a label, a title. I've been living with this expectation for so long. Sometimes I wonder if that's all I'll ever be. A name, an image, a legacy." Steve, sensing the weight of Barron's words, leaned in slightly, his tone now softer, more introspective. "But Barron, what happens when you take all of that away? The name, the legacy, the expectations. What are you left with then?" Barron stared at him, lost in thought, as if the question had uncovered something he hadn't been able to articulate before. I think I think it's terrifying," he confessed. "Without all that, I don't know who I am anymore. It's like I've been shaped by everything around me, by other people's dreams, other people's ideas of who I should be. I don't know if I even have a voice of my own." Steve nodded slowly, the understanding clear in his expression. "I get it. It's hard to find yourself when the world is telling you who you're supposed to be. But what if you could strip it all away? Find out who you really are, underneath it all. Would you be ready for that?" Barron hesitated. The idea seemed as thrilling as it was frightening. He finally whispered, "I don't know. Maybe that's what scares me. What if I don't like who I am without all the titles and expectations?" Steve leaned back, his voice steady but gentle. "It's a tough journey, Barron. Growing up is hard enough, but when everyone has already decided who you're supposed to be, it's even harder. The world wants you to be something, someone. But is that who you want to be?" Barron shifted in his seat, the tension in his shoulders noticeable. "Yeah, that's exactly it. I feel like I'm always supposed to live up to something. Every move I make feels like it has to meet someone's expectations. And when I step outside that, it's like I'm letting people down. It's like carrying a weight I don't know how to put down." Steve's expression softened, empathy filling his eyes. "Expectations come from everywhere, Barron. From family, friends, society. But at the end of the day, tell me this. Are those dreams really yours or are they someone else's?" Barron's eyes flickered, an internal struggle playing out behind them. He looked at Steve, his voice barely a whisper. "I don't know anymore. It feels like I've been walking down a path someone else set for me, and if I step off it, I don't even know where it'll take me." Steve exhaled slowly, his voice calm but resolute. "Here's the truth, Barron. You don't have to live up to anyone else's dreams. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing your own path. It's hard, it's scary, but the only way to truly live is to stop letting other people's expectations dictate your choices. The real question is, are you ready to live for yourself?" Barron fell silent for a moment, his mind grappling with the enormity of Steve's words. He felt a shift inside himself, as if something long buried was beginning to stir. Finally he spoke, his voice a little steadier. "Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time I start living my own dream instead of the one everyone else has for me." As Barron spoke those words, the change in him was palpable. He wasn't just a passive participant in this conversation anymore. He was beginning to take ownership of his thoughts, his emotions, his future. Steve, sensing the transformation, leaned in once again, his voice low but filled with a quiet intensity. "Barron, the hardest thing in life isn't failure. It's trying to be someone you're not. But once you embrace who you really are, the world can't hold you back. That's freedom. And it starts with believing in yourself. Do you believe you can be who you want to be? Barron looked at Steve, the realization dawning on him with a clarity he hadn't felt in years. Yeah, if you, I think I can. I've been trying to fit into a mold that was never mine. Maybe it's time to break out of it. Steve smiled, the pride in his eyes unmistakable. And that, my friend, is the first step. When you start living for yourself, the world stops feeling so big and scary. It's not about the name you carry or the family you come from. It's about the person you choose to become. Barron's eyes brightened. For the first time in a long while, he felt like he had a choice, the freedom to choose his own path. I'm ready, Steve. I don't know where this path will lead, but I know I can't keep living in the shadow of other people's expectations. It's time for me to step into my own light. The conversation wound down, but the change in Barron was undeniable. The young man who had entered the studio uncertain and burdened is now someone ready to claim his own life. Steve sat back, watching him with a knowing smile, proud of the clarity that had settled over Barron. You're going to do great things, Barron, Steve said softly. But remember, the only person you need to answer to is yourself. Barron smiled, the weight of the conversation still heavy in his heart, but the spark of determination in his eyes was brighter than ever. For the first time in a long while, he truly felt like he was stepping into his own life. As we reflect on this conversation, we are reminded of the importance of identity and the freedom to live authentically. Barron's story isn't just about him, it's about anyone who has ever struggled with the weight of other people's expectations. His journey towards self-realization challenges us to reconsider how we view those who live under the public eye. What can we learn from Barron's journey? First, we learn that no matter our background or public persona, every individual faces their own battle with identity. Barron Trump, despite his family name and the weight of public expectations, is a young man seeking to define his own path. We should respect him for that. This story teaches us the importance of empathy. We often judge people based on their names, their families, or their reputation. But the truth is, everyone has a story that deserves to be heard, regardless of their last name. Barron's journey reminds us that authenticity is something we all deserve to find, and that we should encourage those around us to live true to themselves. So how should we support Barron Trump and others like him? By recognizing that everyone, no matter their background, deserves the right to choose their own path. Let's stop judging people based on assumptions or public images. Instead, let's offer them the respect and empathy they deserve, allowing them the space to discover who they truly are. Barron's journey is a reminder to all of us that no one is defined by their family or their past. We each have the power to shape our own future. And as we support Barron, we are supporting the right of every individual to live authentically, free from the expectations of others. Let's ask ourselves, how can we support Barron in his journey toward authenticity? It's easy to look at someone like him, a young man born into fame, burdened with expectations before he could even understand what they meant, and assume that his path is set. But the truth is, Barron, like each of us, is navigating a deeply personal journey, one that requires courage, introspection, and a willingness to break free from the constraints imposed upon him. His authenticity, like ours, is not something that can be handed to him. It's something he must fight for, just as we all must. Let's keep the conversation going. Subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts below. Your perspective is valuable and might inspire others.